Hey, it's Romania Black, and it's been a couple weeks, and I'm so ready to dive back into Lord of the Mysteries, episode 3. I've literally taken 2 weeks off since episode 2 to work on other reactions, and it's probably a good thing, because Whiteboard-kun needed a break. I needed a break mentally to get myself reset for episode 3, because episode 2 was a lot of information. A lot of information as our sweet Klein and sweet Leonard handled their first case together. They look like they're going to make beautiful music together. I'm not getting my hopes up for like shipping, but at the same time, the Discord's like, ship it. They're like Kermit the Frog with the Sith robe that's like, do it. And I'm like, okay, fine, I will. But anyway, so I've got a couple of comments that I want to talk about before we start this episode, as well as some interesting developments that you all will see actually in this video, and that I want to talk about in terms of the Loanese, the language that has basically been constructed for this very series, which is wild. Not since Tolkien has such a advanced, elaborate language been constructed for a piece of media, so I'm all here for it. To get to the comments, there was one comment for episode 1 by Sunray535 that said, the name of the group Nighthawks is believed to be a nod to the painting Nighthawks by Edward Hopper. Literally one of my favorite paintings of all time. I love Nighthawks. I've seen it in person. It's actually a really small painting, but it's the symbolism, the imagery, the mood, the atmosphere. It's amazing. But yes, so can definitely see the influence. They also said that Lord of the Mysteries premiered on June 28th back in 2025, the same day our protagonist wakes up as Klein. Coincidence? I think not. And then Dunsmith and Dally Simone have the same initials, which is cute in my opinion. I agree. I think that is very cute. I'm definitely a Dun and Dally shipper. I need to see more of them together. We haven't seen her in episode 2, so hopefully we get more of her maybe in this episode. And then for episode 2, Tiny Truck says he can read Chinese, aka Ancient Hermes. Just a quick clarification, it is not the same. Chinese and Ancient Hermes are 2 different languages altogether. Like characters in Lord of the Mysteries can find ways to read and decipher Ancient Hermes, but they still couldn't simplify Chinese in Roselle's notebooks. Okay, so glad to know that there is a difference there. Although the simplified Chinese in Roselle's notebooks makes me believe, with that in mind, that Roselle might have been somebody that transmigrated as well. Possibly. Maybe Klein's the only one that can read it. We'll have to see. A translation mistake I noticed on the Crunchyroll subs, which causes inconsistency with old Neil's lessons as a translation. When Roselle said he should have chosen apprentice, seer, or bandit, the bandit is a mistranslation. He meant marauder. Oh, okay. And marauder is the same as bandit. The subs for the episode and the Neil classes translated them differently. Okay, so marauder is not the same as bandit. That is a different classification. And we were supposed to do apprentice, seer, or marauder. Interesting. Okay, we will take note of that. Four Sunsets also talked about the translation thing as well. We will make note of that. So that has been noted, which may come up in the discussion for episode 3. And then Bam Bam for episode 2 said, the math is basically 22 times 9 sequences, each having a name to remember, as you mentioned, or 198 in total. This is why the comment section exists, because Romania is not a math person, and this is why people comment. So 198 different pathways to go through. Not complicated at all. But yes, nice to know. Anyway, I am super excited. We have episode 3. We have a chibi short, and we have an old Neil lesson, which I'm super excited about, all 3 of these things. But before we get started, I wanted to point out that some people in the Discord did their due justice and actually figured out ways to translate the text on the screen using the alphabet that was created, which is wild. So first of all, this was created, that is my name in the language, and I'm so super hyped about that. Tiny Truck actually went through and made me a link in the description animation as a birthday present. Crazy cool. Thank you. You're awesome. And so you will see that in the video this week and every other Lord of the Mysteries episodes that we have. So make sure to give them a shout out for their hard work, because that was awesome. But yeah, here's the translation stuff. So when Klein hands over the money It says one solely from the Imperial Bank of Lowen, and there's the guy with the impeccable mustache that is featured on it. Episode 1 is called The Fool. I like the tagline, I opened my eyes from the mystery. Indeed. And then we could translate some of the newspaper that in episode 2, our dear sweet secretary has, saying, Tingren, yes, it's misspelled, the Daily the Plain Dealer. A shocking case occurred on Howard Street. A burglary and a murder case. And it says Naya and Welch. So I'm wondering if the burglary is someone stole the notebook, and then the murder is obviously them being murdered. The steam train Fangshong, which runs directly to Constant City, opened today. Ironclad giant ship Pulitzer sets sail for test launch. So there's a ship setting sail. There's a train system opening up. Basically, transportation's booming in this world. So that's interesting to note. And then this creepy clown that I'm not a fan of at all. The flyer that they handed out to Klein says, absolutely not to be missed. Not my views on this clown. Admission fee is 5 pence at 7 p.m. I have a feeling we're going to have to go to that. We're going to have to go to that. We're going to go see that clown, and I'm not looking forward to that. I don't like clowns. And anyway, Tiny Truck also said that there were posters for each of the episodes. So this is the one that came after episode 1. I love the shot of Klein here with the hat and the outfit and like the clock bursting. Like there's so much going on in this picture. It's so maximalist. But they did say, because I noticed that even though this is for episode 1, he's wearing the outfit from episode 2, and Truck was like, yeah, sometimes the episode posters are giving stuff away, so they're like, I can't show you some posters until we get further into the series, and I'm like, fair enough. Also, I think one of my favorite parts of this is you have Klein bursting through the clock in his new outfit, but then you see Joe's glasses down the side, like he's taking off the glasses, he's transmigrated, he started a new life. Interesting. So yeah, lots of fun stuff, but this series has been so much fun, and we're only 2 episodes in, and so I'm definitely going to be savoring every other week, every bi-weekly episode we have, I'm going to be savoring, because I don't want this season to be over, and at least we have 3 OVAs after season 1, so that's good to note at least. But anyway, we're not going to waste any more time. We are going to get started, and I love how this Crunchyroll episode wants me to skip the intro that doesn't exist, so Crunchyroll, get your shit together. Anyway, we're going to start Lord of the Mysteries episode 3, and we're going to do this here in 3, 2, 1, and let's do it to it. I've run out of space. As you can see on Whiteboard-kun, I've ran out of space. I was like, it only took 3 episodes. It only took 3 episodes for me to run out of space in Whiteboard-kun. I'm like, oh my god. The stuff in black, we've already talked about. We've already talked about the stuff in black. That's from episode 2. Everything down here is from episode 3. And I'm like, I've ran out of room. So, after this week, I'm going to be spending the next 2 weeks transcribing all of this over to Conspiracy Board Sama that is off screen. You can't see Conspiracy Board Sama. You need to look at my Neon Genesis or Attack on Titan later reactions to see what Conspiracy Board Sama looks like. Or you can wait in a week or 2, because I'm going to be showing you him, because he's going to have Lord of the Mysteries things upon him, because we need the room. This episode was incredible. This episode was amazing. I cannot emphasize in enough words how awesome this episode was. It was really freaking good. And it was surprising. And at this point in the series, to be quite frank with you, I didn't think the clown would be dead already. And now, the clown, part 1, now it all makes sense. Because when we got the whole thing about, when we got Klein being a seer, and we got the idea of the fool, I was like, why is this called the clown instead of the seer or the fool? Because it's just part 1. Because what ends up happening is now we're getting into Klein being a sequence 8. Sequence 8 clown. What a broken ass ability. I was like, oh damn, you picked real good. You picked real good, son. Because everything I'm about to tell you all that we went through old Neil's notes, I was like, damn, the seer path is the way to go. But the trick is that the only ones available in where the Evernight Kingdom is just Sequence 9. And Sequence 9 is okay. It's not a bad ability, but if that's all you had, I could see why people wouldn't choose it, because it doesn't have as much as, say, some of the other ones that I've detailed here that we're going to go over. But if you get to Sequence 8, the boost. And if you get to Sequence 7, if Klein gets to Sequence 7 as the magician, then it's like, what can't you do? What can't you do? I've noticed something, though, and I'm sure that it's going to come up. This is just, Volume 1, Part 1. But so far, the highest sequence we've gotten to is 7. And there's still 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And all of the sequences, when you get to 7, are pretty busted OP. So I'm like, at what point do you get to 1? Like, you're just basically a deity at that point. You're just basically a god at that point. But my theory is that once you get to 7, it becomes harder for the human body to control all of the magic that's inside of them. So the people that are getting to like Sequence 1, if they ever do, are pretty much just not human anymore. So you just have a way of controlling your lack of humanity, for better or worse. So that's what it seems like. And Dunn kind of points out that nobody really gets past that point. So although they do have the entire 9 sequences for Seers, but you don't see anything past Sequence 7, so that must mean it's really hard to control. Or they did make a point, and I did not note that on here. I'm just thinking of it. There was so much to talk about. The idea of reality and dreams blurring, which we're going to talk about as a downfall of the sleepless sequence. The sleepless sequence is interesting. It's kind of, it's like less fluid and connective than the other sequences, but we're going to talk about it in this. But holy cow, this episode was good. So we just need to go through where do you start? I could just go through everything that we got from Neil. We do have some new characters we're going to have to put over here in the tiny corner there. But essentially, we're going to go through everything. I guess we might as well wait till the end to go through all of this, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot. So we need to go ahead and just talk about the episode. Oh my gosh. The notebook and everything it's a lot. So here in 3, 2, 1, we're going to pull up the screenshots, and I think whenever Crunchyroll wants to skip the intro, it wants to just get to the opening where they talk about the 9 paths of divinity. It's a lot. This is such a complicated story, and I love it, but damn. Also, I really like Dunn. I'm absolutely loving Dunn. Oh, we're going to talk about the Secret Order. I forgot to put them on there. Where's room for the Secret Order? I guess right here. So, okay, Secret Order Regents. That's what we've got going on here at the very beginning. Yeah. I love Dunn, but if any character in this first season is giving death flags, it's Dunn. Dally and Dunn are giving me doomed pairing vibes. I don't like it, but I'm getting Dunn gonna die vibes. Real hardcore. I'm not a fan of that because I like Dunn a lot, so I'm not digging that where it's going, but he is definitely giving off the vibes of, oh, he's Klein's mentor. Look how nice he is. He's super strong, but we just saw him get like impaled, and he's given this death cough that he's got. I'm like, I'm not getting good vibes. I'm not getting good vibes. Nope. Not having it. But we do see his ability to force people to dream. He's like, there's the notebook. And then the guy forces everything back out of him. And we see that he has the Secret Order mark. Okay. It's entered the market through his hands. The Secret Order's looking for the notebook too. Damn it! That plunging neckline, Leonard's my dude. I don't want to keep calling him a slut because I don't want to slut shame Leonard for his fashion, but damn it. His language, when he lifted down and curled his hands around the Secret Order guy's collar and tugged it down, I was like, whore. I say it affectionately. Y'all have to know that. So the Secret Order's looking for the notebook. Secret Order's looking for the notebook, and Klein's got a lead on it. So that's kind of where we go to start. Disgusting! Nope, the maggots and everything on the dead body, not a fan. Personally not a fan. I like that Fry has this balm that allows you to like cleanse your nose so you don't have to smell death, because if you've ever smelled a dead or rotting animal or something of that nature, it's not a fun time. It does not smell well. Nope, nope, nope. Especially in a musty house. Nope, nope, nope. I've never smelled a dead animal in a musty house, but dead mice, we get those in the barns a lot at my parents' farm. Get those a lot. Dead pigs, dead animals. I've smelled it. It's not great. Not a good time. Gross. So I would definitely want that balm that Fry's got to keep you. And when he said you'll get used to it, definitely the world that they are living in is dangerous. And so we got two instances of that. One with Fry saying like you're going to get used to dead bodies. And then the second is when Klein shot somebody. Klein killed the clown. Okay. And then Klein's like, all right, I did that. And Dunn's like, well, you kind of had to. It was like either you killed him or he was going to kill you and all of us and possibly do more damage down the road. So self-defense in a way, I guess. But yeah, no wonder Bacchus went mad. He was so close to it. And he's like, beyond her kidnapping a child. So Bacchus must have been one of the gamblers that kidnapped the kid last episode. And our dear sweet, Leonard is saying that it was just too much of a coincidence. Something's connected to the notebook. And so, Ray Bieber, old Justin Bieber's nephew, Ray Bieber, son of the deceased, has also gone missing. Yeah, that's the target we're looking for. And he's like, all yours, Klein. Leonard and Klein did not have as many moments this episode, but the ones they did, I was like, okay, especially, we'll talk about the shadow, because I guess we're going to put the professor over here. I'm trying to find spaces to put everything, because we're running out of room. So yeah, I do appreciate that the son in this picture looks a lot like the woman, like they did a good job of making them look similar. But yeah, also, good to know that there are forces at work trying to prevent Klein from being able to use his divination powers. And Dunn saves him in that moment, which was really nicely done. So, nicely done. Done. Nicely done. Get it? Ha 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 ha. So, we learn a little bit about the Holy Cathedral. Considering they are a church of the Evernight, I guess it makes sense that there's a holy cathedral and they have to approve whether things are reported, whether things are used. I always have a disdain for authority, so I immediately think that they're not good. But we'll see. We'll see. I do understand the approval of certain items to be used because, you know, as we find out with the freaking clown doll, it's warranted. There was this moment here where Klein was like shaking after his encounter or his divination failed, and I like that Dunn tries to calm him down. He's like, look, I'm going to give you this. It's a grade 2 sealed artifact. We'll use it to find Bieber. So we learn a little bit about sealed artifacts. We're going to come down here. So the sealed artifacts are, they are to counter threats or cause disaster. It seems that Klein's divination pendulum that he gets is to counter threats, whereas the clown doll is to cause disaster. So we see two different kinds of sealed artifacts used in this episode. They have living characteristics. They can affect the surroundings. They can lure watchers in, and they have the ability to escape on their own. They have sentience. That's terrifying. What's more terrifying is that there's 4 different levels. Apparently there have to be 3 people apply to use sealed artifacts. So Dunn had to get two other people to like get him approval to give the pendulum to Klein. But the artifacts that we see in this episode are only level 2. Level 3, it says, there's certain danger, used with caution. They could be dangerous. Level 2 is they are dangerous, and the central church can only have 3 to 5 at a time within them. So Klein's pendulum is 1. The freaking clown doll is only a level 2. That's terrifying because level 1 is considered highly dangerous, limited use, and level 0 is extremely dangerous and highly confidential, meaning there's some artifact out there that we're not going to touch, that we don't need to get involved in. Now, do we think that the Notebook of Antigonus is one of these sealed artifacts or is basically one now? I think so. I think it might be a level 1 even because it clearly caused Bieber to have that transformation take place. So yeah, we have unique Beyonder items. I just like they come with this briefcase. Terrifying. They have some immense destructive power. They're strictly controlled and remain sealed behind the gates. Grade 2 means dangerous. So yeah, terrifying. This whole sequence, the antagonist family's notebook has given him a mysterious feeling. He's a level 9 sequencer. So, you know what? They highly underestimated Klein in this episode, and then we saw that they were proven wrong. So there you go. So we had 2 other individuals come. We had, I thought the Ayer was a level 8 sequence sleepless, but he is not. So we have Ayer introduced. Ayer Harson. Got him. And he is a level 7 sleepless. Good for him. Then we have Corpse Collector Pathway. There's Borgia. Borgia, we don't get a last name for old Borgia. And he is a level 8 Gravedigger. Okay. There we go. Nice. We got those 2 guys introduced. And glad that Klein quickly corrected them on how useful he is to help with the mission. We find out Dally is a spirit medium, a level 7 Gravedigger, a level 7 a Corpse Collector. Love it. I ship her and Dunn so hard. The only thing is, if Dunn ends up dying, Dally will probably love him more because she's into dead guys. I'm like, don't make this the perfect ship and the doom ship at the same time. Don't do that to me, show. But Dunn just has so many death flags. I'm like, why can't it be Ayer instead? So yeah, so artifact 249. So this is the 49th sealed artifact that is level 2. And so they're like, the risk calculation was an extreme risk, but they need to find out, you know, if the notebook is indeed antagonists and what we're going to do. So look at this smirk. Look at this smirk. As soon as he starts doing the thing, like Leonard, that smirk on his face is like, he just knows that Klein is going to immediately be like, what the fudge? And Leonard's like, let's get him a little bit uncomfortable, shall we? I'm reading 1,000 Autumns right now, and there's one of the main leads gives me, like, the way that Leonard kind of trolls Klein or likes to pick fun at him. It's reminding me of that character just a wee bit, which is fun. But yeah, so this whole idea is that you do this so that as the doll is trying to take control of you, when you start to notice your arm slow down, you can tell that the doll is trying to take control of you. Otherwise, it may be too late, and you may be taken control of before you realize it. Really funny. It kind of gives me like Nutcracker vibes, which would make sense because it's all about a wooden puppet. Can we talk about this artifact though? The way it like slinks out of the box was crazy, but then it just lands and Klein's like, what the cute? In what world do you think that is cute, Klein? Nope. The moment it crawled out, I'm like, that thing's terrifying. No. It's giving me the vibes of my great-grandmother had lots of clown dolls, and I was like, why do you have all these clown dolls? They're so creepy. And she's like, no. She's like, they're cute. They called them depression clowns because during the Great Depression, a lot of like clown dolls were supposed to make kids laugh, you know, despite the horrific times. And I was like, it's not doing it for me. But you know what? Some people think Labubu's are cute. So how can we judge? But yeah, no. Not only is that not cute, but then when it like does this creepy movement, yeah, no, I don't like, you all knew when I said last episode, I'm like, I don't like clowns. You're like, Romania has no clue what's coming. And you're right, I didn't. So, no, absolutely creepy. So the idea that it tried to control you and make you a puppet is wild. Also good for Leonard, saving him. Leonard's just like, they're there. Leonard's like, I got to touch you. I'm so happy. But, creepy ability. Don't know. It isn't considered a massacring demon. Yep. It just targets people within 5 meters of it at random, making giant puppets of them. And a strong slap would free you from its spell. Now, what is interesting in all of this, and I think it's worth noting, is that Leonard was the one that slapped him and released him from the spell of the puppet, which he was the closest to him, so that makes sense that happened. But later on, we find out within the sphere or the radius, Leonard was not really truly being controlled by the puppet. The shadow allowed him to move. He could have saved Klein, but he chose to like wait it out and see what Klein would do. Again, connecting to that character from Thousand Autumns. I'm just saying. But what's interesting is it's like, okay, well, none of old Neil's classes, we'll talk about all this, but none of old Neil's classes mention anything about a shadow helping you out. None of that's mentioned. So, and the professor seems to have the same possible ability. So, what? Can you have two sequences at once? I don't think you can. I think they said you couldn't, but I'm curious, y'all. He's like, what if it hijacks everyone? And it said it wanted to go to how creepy the coat from the family, from Bieber's family. So they catch the doll back up and decide that, yes, this is definitely, we're going to go after Bieber's, we definitely have a lead. I like the parent is shielding the kid from seeing like these, she's like, don't look at these weird eclectic people walking down the street waving their arms. Don't do it. That kid, I feel like we saw him outside the professor's house, that same little kid. So I'm curious if it is in fact the same little kid. And then of course poor Klein is like, I am going to die of humiliation in front of all these. So he's 20 years old. We established Klein is 20. Good, our boy is of age. And so then Leonard's like, hey, you can quit doing that. Love it. So meanwhile, we get this on the secret order. I like that there's the eye, and then the symbol for the secret order is giving me like homunculus vibes from Full Metal Alchemist. I'm just saying. So we established the secret order. I'm running out of room, y'all. The secret order is an ancient organization established in the 4th epoch, has ties to the Solomon. So we're going to put ties to Solomon Empire, because that seems like it will come up later. Solomon Empire and fallen nobles. We're going to put nobles on here because that seems relevant. And then it has the least amount of activity among the secret organizations, such it's not well understood by others. Each appearance they make is usually related to tracking or searching for someone. So they're doing tracking and searching. Okay. So, but anyway, they are not considered to be recognized by the church or any other association. So thus they come across as a wee bit shady. Okay, so then we have Bieber. He's got this like circle, this ritual circle, seance candles, the whole 9 yards. He says in the name of the family. And it looks like, okay, it looks like that the circle is made from the blood of a beyonder because there's a corpse right there that looks like he's killed. In the name of the family and the revival of the bloodline, may honor once again be bestowed upon the name Antigonus. So what did this do? I mean, he absorbed the notebook with his guts. Everything about this episode, the transformation of Bieber, the fight, all of it, the animation, the clown, I want to do the pure cinema sign to you all. It's so good. It's baffling how good it was. But yeah, he absorbs the notebook and then it transforms him. So he was willing to sacrifice that to obtain the power from the notebook. So yeah, then the clown shows up. So whatever Bieber was doing, the clown's like, I was going to hopefully get the notebook before that happened. The notebook's already been absorbed. And what does he say there? And then he hears the carriage coming. Man, they had to walk all that way back because those horses like vamooshed as soon as they sensed something was wrong. Good for them. They know how often horses die in anime and donghua, so they were like, nope, bye, peace out. Maybe there's a heaven-sent chance to turn it around. I'm curious. So whoever this clown was with his piercing blue eyes, whoever this clown was, he wanted the notebook to take back for the secret order. And Bieber was not acting within the realm of the secret order because the clown was like, we need to try to turn things around and get the notebook back. So interesting. I like that there are multiple parties acting in this story. It's not just one organization versus another organization. It's like, it gets complicated real quick. Also, the irony of him saying there's a way to turn it around and it's like he's going to be dead by the end of this episode. Wild times. Here, little meatworm. Your gift has arrived. I'm curious. I'm like the meatworm. I'm assuming he's talking to Bieber as if he's the meatworm and saying you're going to get... I'm curious. What is going on with that line? Allow me to perform some magic for you and help you out. So I guess what the clown is saying is, look, I want that notebook, but these guys, I'm going to help you out so that we can get the notebook, that I can get it from you, but also that you won't be killed by these people. Interesting. So yeah, they get there. I like that Klein is like, you know, is this really where Bieber is? And then he uses the divination pendulum and it's like, nope, it's dangerous. And he's there. And then out comes, the horses were like, nope, see ya, bye. Out comes Bieber. Now, what they established there was that Dunn says at one point with Bieber that he is no longer a Beyonder that's gone rogue. He is instead a dead soul. So essentially, Bieber sacrificed his life to gain power with the notebook and use himself as a conduit to house the notebook for reasons we don't know. His mother was dead, so we assume maybe he killed her, or not, or there's something else going on. We don't know exactly, but he ended up becoming this dead soul. So honestly, in taking him out, which makes sense that he's a dead soul because then Dally was able to try to figure out his weakness and communicate with him. So that makes sense. But yeah, disgusting. That's so gross. Ew, he just looks like a big old nasty tick that's just like walking around. Absolutely not. And so I like that the charms, the sleep charms were given to Klein, which ended up playing a role at the end of the episode. So way over here, I'm like leaning back so y'all can see. Charms are established by Neil as being a one-time skill card. So they have special abilities, they can lessen negative effects, and they can be used during a fierce battle, which is what happens today. And basically, you have to set up an activation spell, chant and infuse spiritual energy, and then wait 3 seconds for it to work, which coordinated with Dolly's attack pretty well. The thing is, something that I think is pretty cool in terms of the world building and adds a layer of complexity to it is that every 2 weeks, the lower level charms don't work anymore. Their expiration date happens, so you have to redo them, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty cool little perk that they were like, yeah, you're going to have to redo that charm every so often, just so you're aware. But yeah, how about that? So let's talk about the sleepless sequence, and then we'll get to the corpse collector, and we'll get to the seer in all of this. The sleepless sequence of the 3 we get explanations on this episode is like the most random in terms of sequence 8. I feel like they just wanted to give Leonard a special ability and they're like, make him sleepless. Yeah. Because it's such a weird, like going from sequence 9 to 7 makes sense, but then 8's in there and you're like, what? So the sleepless, basically it's because you get excellent eyesight. You only need 3 to 4 hours of sleep. Now that would be tempting. That would be tempting. Only needing 3 to 4 hours of sleep, I could get so much done. That would be tempting. And then your energy, strength, agility, perception, inspiration, those all increase compared to average people. And your powers are stronger in the dark. Nice, so you wouldn't be as afraid of the dark. And then you have the awareness of dark entities. So that's kind of cool too. How the shadow it plays into that, we don't know yet. It's not been discussed by old Neil, so whatever. Now, with the Midnight Poet, the combat, climbing, marksmanship, and perception increasing does advance from sequence 9, so I get that. It's just the poem powers. What does that have to do with sleeplessness? I was like, okay, sure, show. We'll let it go. But here's my thing too. Leonard is known for his poet powers. Would he ever go past sequence 8 or would he stay in sequence 8 because he really likes using his poet powers? Because I don't see Dunn using any poet powers. Maybe he does and we just haven't seen it yet. But I feel like, I don't know if Leonard would want to move forward with and lose his poet abilities. But they did say you get those in addition to, so maybe he could still use them if he did advance. I don't know. Then you have the nightmare sequence, which is what Dunn and Ire are in. And you can enter and exit people's dreams, which is pretty bitchin'. You can also force people to dream within 100 meters, even though it takes a little setup time. So like an interrogation. So that's pretty cool. But it does have a downside. The downside is you tend to forget things. And this is probably the part that gets you screwed, is that you start to blur the lines between dream and reality if you use the power too much. It sort of becomes like Inception, and you forget like you need the spinning top to know if you're dreaming or not. I could see that. So I'm glad that they give the OP powers like a little bit of a drawback. Because Gravedigger is a pretty sweet ability, but it has its drawbacks too. Whereas Sleepless, you're like, okay, here's the drawbacks. You could hallucinate and lose track of reality versus a dream, and that could lead to your downfall. Like, it could lead you to be attacked if you weren't careful. Makes sense. That tracks, but I'm all into that. I also love, so basically in this moment, I guess this answers my question. Both Leonard and Dunn recited the same thing with the Midnight Poet, because Dunn was once a midnight poet and now he's a nightmare. Freaking cool. I worry that Dunn's going to die because the show can't handle having two hot daddies in one series for too long. We can't do it. Even though Leonard is clearly the one that's being shipped with Klein and Dunn has Dolly, I worry. And then Dolly, like, using her abilities, oh, hell yeah. Like, this whole sequence, being able to use your final attacks in coordination and combination with one another, amazing. So we might as well talk about the Corpse Collectors while we're here, and then we'll get to the Seers. Corpse Collectors, sequence 9, which is Fry, well, it says 8th here, but whatever. They're gloomy, they can lower their body temperature. I think one of the most beneficial things about being a corpse collector is avoiding like zombie attacks or the undead attacking you, because you can appear like the undead. That's a benefit. Your fitness improves. You can handle cold. You won't decay. Also, you can have cadaverific auras, which is fun. Also, you have spirit vision, kind of like the Seers. And then you understand characteristics and weaknesses of the undead. I mean, I can see why so far all of these sequences present reasons why people would choose them, which is kind of cool. If you get to level 8 or sequence 8, like Borgia here, then you get more durability. Your spirit vision gets enhanced. You have more agility, and you can communicate with some spirits. So that's cool. You want to be like have a seance? Go right ahead. And then Dally, who has become a spirit medium in like 2 years, good for her. Her and Dunn, both sequence 7s. Yes. She can directly talk to the dead. She can master spiritual rituals, which is cool. She can get the spirits to help her do magic. Love that. She can create paranormal phenomenon. She can also disguise herself as a living corpse. I'm thinking of Rob Zombie's song, Living Dead Girl. Like, I'm going to associate that with Dally from now on. And then she can also, it can endure erosion, decay, cadaverific auras, and she can use the Eye of Death to see the weaknesses of the undead. Pretty cool. Not bad. I think that all that's pretty bitchin' in terms of abilities. But yeah, obviously Bieber is strong because of the Notebook. The Notebook is enhancing his abilities, and he's not just a berserker beyonder, he's a dead soul. So he's like, Dally, we need to find out what his weakness is and exploit it. I freaking love Dally and Dunn's relationship in this. It's under the Notebook's control, which makes our options pretty limited. Everything looks, Dunn and Dally, and then he uses the ability, Net of Dreams. And also he says it while like reciting poetry. So, okay, that's where the poetry comes in. He can recite it while doing his like Net of Dreams attack. Dunn and Dally helping each other gives me life, and I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that Dunn is also speaking poetry. Like, love that. Good for him. So they do all that they can, but damn it, Dunn getting speared, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. Not a good sign. When first blood is drawn on your senior captain, it is not a good sign. I don't like what this spells for Dunn. I don't like it at all. Also, he worked himself into an overtime on this. Especially trying to protect Dolly. I worry that since they both like each other, that Dolly and him might end up being in trouble. I get worried. I get worried indeed. And so then, yeah, Klein is thinking about what to use with the card, and he manages to use the sleep charm, and it lulls him to sleep long enough for Dally to use her attacks, which is great. works out wonderful for everybody. Ugh. And just as I like that Dunn, as soon as the battle's over, he immediately goes to Dally. I'm like, my ship, that's my pairing, that's my couple. Dunn looks worse for wear. Like, Dally's been knocked out. Dunn is like the veins popping on his face. He's got like been impaled. I'm like, I worry for Dunn's safety in all of this, to be honest. And just when you think the battle's over, luckily they have a healing potion, so that's good. Even Leonard got a little bit of scruff on him, which is unusual. And so Klein notices the notebook underneath the rubble. He's drawn to it, saying it's like whispering the hornaceus and flagria, which is what Klein's original body was saying and writing about before he died and our boy Joe transmigrated. So something's going on with that mountain range. I don't know. But as he reaches for the notebook, also, can we talk about this moment of Dunn holding Dally in his arms? Stop. Like, she's being healed, but he's still holding her. Stop. Don't make me ship them any more than I already are. At least Leonard and Klein are protected by the Yowie. I don't know if Dunn's being protected. He's giving me Doom ship vibes. Meanwhile, the clown shows up. I had no clue. I figured that we would encounter the clown again at some point, because when you have a character that stands out that much, like, why wouldn't you visit him again? But I did not think it would be in episode 3. I did not think Klein would shoot him in episode 3. And I did not think that he would be already getting to sequence 8 at episode 3. So, like, all of this craziness. So, just in case you're curious, with the seer ability, okay, just in case you're curious about this and this creepy ass clown, the seer ability is broken as hell. Broken as hell. I like the idea that in the kingdom they are in, they do not have the sequences for seers, because the sequences are broken. So powerful. Like, sequence 1, sequence 9 is just, it's divination, spirit vision, and danger intuition. That's basically it. You can use a spirit pendulum, a dowsing rod, or your dream divination, which we've seen Klein use in episodes 1 and episodes 2. Sure. Yeah. Basically, seer level 9 is a freaking magic carp. Go to sequence 8 and you've already jumped to Gyarados. What? So, sequence 8, which is clown, which this guy was already at sequence 7. So, holy shit. But sequence 8, you have it's like, divination, spirit vision, danger intuition. You might be a little clumsy. Like, episode 2, Klein was a little clumsy, and I was like, oh man, how's he gonna fight back? Oh, don't worry. Once you get to sequence 8, you gain coordination, body control, balance, agility, speed, decent strength, as they announce it, combat tactical abilities, and you can control facial expressions and body language to persuade people. That's a big old leap. Not only that, though, but you also get intuitive foresight, and you can use paper projectiles. You bumped up a whole level. A whole big old level. And then, once you get to this guy's level 7, sequence 7, you can use flame jump. You can use flame manipulation. That's crazy. It makes me think of a circus, like the fire breather in a circus. You can also use air bullets that have the same power as real bullets. So if you run out of ammunition, you're good to go. What? Then you can use paper substitutions, which is where he makes the illusion, the fake copies of himself. And you can create illusions, like with the rabbit. What? And then probably the most useful technique that we've had in the series so far, damage transfer. You get shot in the gut or shot in the heart, you can move it to your finger. What? That's broken and insane. So, that's broken and insane. Holy shit. And yeah, the circus clown. And he, coincidentally, has a top hat as well. So maybe it's just, to be a seer, you gotta have a sweet-ass top hat. Perhaps. But yeah, he was a very big threat throughout this entire sequence. Like, they could have easily all died to this man. And, yeah, absolutely terrifying. He's like, I'll leave it up to the RNG gods. I'm like, Klein, my dude. Also, what is this ability that he has with the whip? What is this whip that he was using? Where did that come in at? Was it like illusion creation? Was it flame manipulation? When did flame become black? What? Maybe it was a sealed artifact. Maybe he had a ring or something. Oh, he did have a whip. Maybe it was a sealed artifact and it was just a whip that he was holding on to. That could very well be. But yeah. Also, I freaking like ours, like his sword, his awesome sword. Love that. But yeah, no good. So he gets the doll to come out of its hiding and everybody gets frozen. Now, Leonard could have escaped the wrath of this clown doll, but nobody else could have. That clown was freaking scary. Freaking creepy. And then the jump scare? We're not there yet, but the jump scare with him? No. Nope. That was too much. I could not. So Klein, in his moment of panic, recites this incantation to take him back to his mind palace. And he's like, okay, I'm back here. Thank God. I'm back to my mind palace. I figured out how to get back there. I can't stay here long because the longer I'm here, the more likely I'm dead back in reality. So what do I do in my mind palace? He's like, what can I do? What's my method to try to get out of this? And it gives him just enough time to think. He's like, okay, I could return to the real world. How do I beat him? And he's like, okay, I can switch him. He's like, I can move again. Okay, I've regained control. And that's when the clown starts talking to him. He's like, let's make a deal. I'll move the puppet's control and you give me the notebook. Also, the Donghua lover in me, when I see a rabbit, I'm just like, Klein, we know what you are. It's giving me that vibe there. I'm going to offer these new tokens to sweeten the deal. So basically, he's like, look, if you give me the notebook, I will give you the sequence 8 potion, and I'll give you like this magical bunny and magical dove power, some magician abilities to sweeten the deal. I'll give you some things to help make it more appealing for you. Yeah. As a former seer, I'll grant you one answer. He says a former seer, so I'm like, but you were a magician. I guess because he's a magician. So he's talking about as a former sequence 9, I can help you out a little bit. Such as the corresponding sequence 8 for seer. The mouth movements there are so creepy. I freaking love it. So creepy. He's like, is this real or is it fake? Why would a former seer make a mistake in judging my current status? Did the fog interfere with the divination results? So was he already sequence 8? Was he already sequence 8 and we just didn't realize it? And Klein is like, why is he not recognizing me as a sequence 8 seer or a sequence 8 clown? That part is a little bit confusing. So if you can comment down below, what was that part there about Klein saying like, why was he confused? Now, in this moment, he says everybody is unconscious. The only one that will know is you or I. But this shadow is watching, and Leonard is watching too to see what's going to happen. So that part was freaking cool because Leonard was looking at it going, okay, what you going to do? What are you going to do in this moment? Are you gonna give in to the clown and betray us, the organization? Or are you going to work around it? And I like Leonard's little smirk. He's like, I just want to see what he's going to do. Like, and this definitely like, because Leonard at episode 2 was thinking, okay, he's not anybody special. Now it's like, I'm going to have to rethink my views of Klein in this moment. Right? So I'm very curious to see, like, if I were Leonard after this whole ordeal, I would have a lot of trust in Klein, but I'd also have a lot of curiosity for Klein as well. Which, if Klein's wanting Leonard to not pay more attention to him, well, joke's on you, that's not going to happen. Especially not after this episode. That's for sure. So, in any case, he's like, trust me, you're running out of time. He's like, I'll tell you the corresponding sequence of 8. And he says, it's the clown. And he's like, okay, which he has a reaction. Klein has a reaction in that moment. And he's about to I guess he's about to tap him to go get I guess he's going into the fog to get the notebook. And that's when Klein grabs it and is like, and he switches them around where they exchange places. And then he's trapped inside the fog and the puppet's control. And Klein's like, yeah, joke's on you. And Klein shooting him right in the neck and right in the head. I mean, I don't blame our dude. That man was going to kill them all. But I kind of was almost hoping the clown would stay around just a little bit longer so we could see more with him. And yeah, that jump scare was freaking terrifying. And he says Hornaces. That's so crazy that the clown lived long enough after getting shot in the head and the neck and then was able to say that before he died. Wild. That jump scare was such a crazy moment. Nope. Anyway, and then everything, Hornaces again. So they put the clown doll back. Can we just talk about Dunn and Dolly once more? I worry about Dunn a lot. Our boy took some serious damage, and all he's worried about is Dolly, this sweet gentleman. I cannot. So then Leonard's like, so, I did want to save you initially, but then I discovered you had it in you to force the clown into 249's area of control. He's like, don't mind me. Also, poor Leonard's ear. Like, that scratch on his ear. Our poor boy does not deserve that. In this world, there are bound to be unique individuals who can do things no one else can. I mean, I feel that ties into a few areas. One, Leonard is maybe subtly saying that he's subtly hinting at the shadow ability that he has that we don't know much about. But also I feel like Leonard is hinting at, he understands Klein has a special ability and he doesn't quite understand it, but he knows Klein is able to do things that other people would not, whether it's connected to the Mind Palace or whether it's just the fact that he was able to move out of the clown puppet's control. I feel like Leonard is drawn to Klein because he's like, you're fascinating and I want to stay next to you. And Klein's like, okay. I love that Klein interprets it as, what a narcissist. Because he says individuals like you and like me. Leonard's like, you and I, we have a lot in common, a lot more in common than you think. And then I love that Klein's just like, what a narcissist. Dude, my dude, do you not see the blatant flirting happening in front of you? He literally has his arm around you, sir. He literally has his arm around you. Do you not get it? He's like, wow, what an eccentric fellow. So they have the notebook. They put the clown doll back. There we go. We seal that sucker away. That thing was terrifying. Let's not bring that back out. Please and thank you. Seal that behind these doors. I don't like Dunn's death rattle. Don't like it one bit. Absolutely hate it. Not a fan. Giving me red flags. And he says, we have to let the Holy Cathedral verify the notebook before we can let you have it to search for any more clues. And he's like, well, you averted disaster. You're going to be a regular employee in no time. I like that he's like, you're not really certified yet. And I'm like, how is he not? Because he literally saved the day and saved everybody's skins. How? Anyway, he's like, absorbing the notebook's power was a dangerous move. Why didn't he leave Tengen first? And then the way he says, well, those affected by ancient occult powers often make rash decisions. I don't know. I think Klein brings up a really good question because, yeah, why, if you were going to go absorb the notebook and you knew people were looking for the notebook, both the Secret Order and probably, the Nighthawks, why would you not leave and get out of town or go across the country with it? Why not? What was the reason? I think Klein is very right to ask these questions, and I don't think it's just, well, crazy people make crazy decisions. I think that there's more to it than that. I think there's a reason for Klein to be asking. But yeah, I love this shot here where Dunn looks back at Klein. Like, this is the first time that in Klein's life, real life or otherwise, he's killed someone. And Dunn's like, hey, like, you had to do it. It's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Don't dwell into it. You don't want to have like any PTSD moments, but killing him meant saving even more people. So he's like, there's actually one more thing. I already know what the corresponding sequence 8 of Seer is. It's clown. When did Klein get the sequence 8 for Seer if it wasn't from the clown himself? That's interesting. Interesting indeed. Interesting indeed. So yeah, once Dolly's wounds have healed, I'll escort her back to Backland. Okay, well, I'm sure you'll volunteer to do that, Dunn. I like that Dunn's like, once her wounds have healed, I'll get her back safe and sound. You just trust me, I can do it. Shipping them so hard. And so these guys are like, wow, Klein, you're a lot more strong than we gave you credit for. He's like, you took out a secret order member with a sequence 7 capability. How did you achieve such a feat? And then Leonard's like, yes, how did you achieve such a feat? And Klein's like, oh, it just must have been the lady's blessings. Maybe it's because I had the notebook, you know. And he's like, you grasped the opportunity to turn the tables on him. And then you took his life in one shot. Leonard's like, I'm so impressed and proud of you, sir. Like, let's date. I mean, what are we talking about? And Klein's like, ignoring him, saying, I've always been ashamed of my marksmanship. And they're like, you're the most outstanding seer we've ever met. You have a bright future ahead of you. He's like, please don't jinx it. Yeah. So then he's like, you're too kind. And we have this moment here, which I'm assuming is the potion. This moment here that's breaking through and affecting his body. I'm like, or what is it? Almost looks like, it looks like a water droplet. Is he getting a vision of the future? It looks like something breaking. Maybe he's getting a vision of the future now that he's a sequence 8. Because sequence 8 also have intuitive foresight, so maybe he's getting a foresight into something that's about to happen. Interesting. Also, I want to point out, freaking Leonard looks so hot. I'm sorry, I'm going to simp for him for a hot second. Bear me out. Like, them slender legs, the ruffly shirt, the cleavage that's cut down into no man's land, like, just, and the way that he, like, smirks at him when he walks by. Shut the frick up. Stop it. Stop it. He looks so good. Look at him. Look at him. Yep. What was that the potion digesting just now? It might have been. Interesting. Something must have acted as a catalyst to speed it up. Maybe the people you're next to, maybe the situation, maybe your insight. Okay. He's like, I can consider advancing to the next sequence. There's also that murmuring about Hornatius. So he's like, I need to go visit Klein's teacher at the university, which is what he does at Coy University. He finds, I'm sure he had the knowledge of how to get there. And meanwhile, he's like, Hornatius, and he has the paper about Naya and Welsh's death. Now, here's the thing. I get why Klein is going to Professor Azek. Professor Azek. He was friends with Klein. But I'm also pretty sure that he was friends with Naya and Welsh as well, because they all seemed like they were buddies. And I am concerned that he is the friend of Klein. Here's the thing I worry about Klein with Professor Azek, is that our boy Joe has transmigrated into Klein's body. And so he is just assuming that Azek was his professor. They just had a teacher-student relationship, and it's no big deal. I don't know if Klein is taking into account that Azek might have had a more intimate relationship with Naya and Welsh and Klein, the previous Klein. And so when he's interacting and talking with him, he might be like, you're not sounding like the Klein that I know. The Klein that I know would be doing X, Y, and Z. Or if he knows about Naya and Welch, he'd be like, why are you asking these questions? Why are you asking about Hornatius? He's like, Azek Eggers, who looks freaking hot, but also looks like he will become a bad guy. Yeah, history professor. And then we see that little kid out there. I'm like, is that his kid? It might be a different kid than we saw earlier, because there's a man out there with him instead of a woman. So the nation of the Evernight in the Hornatius Mountain Range. So there's the Hornatius Mountain Range. Yep, so we're thinking some shit's going down there soon. Thinking that might be the case. And he's like, Antigonus family, nation of the Evernight. Well, I think I've heard of it somewhere. I'm like, bitch, I bet you know, because you're a damn history professor. How could you not know the history of the mountain range right next to your kingdom? What? Nah. I don't believe this man for an instant. I think he's talking about something and something's up and he doesn't want to talk about it. Because he's suspicious of Klein. Yeah. He's like, well, if you recall anything, write to me. And he's like, oh, sure will. I got to take care of some things. And then the moment he's like, I should thank you for your years of instruction. There were two things that I'm sure made Azek suspicious. One, when Klein's like, well, thank you for all your years of instruction. If they were on like a more closer friendship and basis, this would seem odd and oddly formal. And two, when he's like, you're working for a security firm that looks for antiques. And he's like, yes, I do enjoy exploring history. I feel like that to him too is like, would Klein have a job like that? Would he really? I feel like there's some things throwing him off. You could easily wander into some forbidden areas hidden in the darkness. Don't worry. Not that this is gonna, be immediately ominous by the sunlight going away and everything being in darkness. Yeah. He's like, I'll take that advice, Mr. Azek. And then everything gets dark. And he's like, and the nation of the Evernight, huh? He's got a beauty mark behind his ear, which is crazy. Yep. And so in that moment, like all the darkness surrounds him and this shadow like twists and turns behind him. And out comes this giant ass skeleton that forges itself behind him. Like, what the fudge? What the fudge? I don't know. I wonder if he's a sleepless and he has, or if there's some other ability he has that is connected to the same shadow that Leonard has. Can Leonard have a giant skeleton appear behind him too? I don't know. But yeah, Azek is suspicious. I think Azek's going to be tied to problems down the road. I don't trust it. But what an episode. What an episode, y'all. Crazy time. Crazy times all around. I am just flabbergasted. So, yeah. Anyway, this episode was absolutely wild, absolutely crazy. I am all about it, but we're going to have to gear up and get all of this onto Conspiracy Board Summit because I have a feeling I'm going to need Whiteboard-kun free in the next few weeks when we get to episode 4 to move forward. So, there's that. I hope you all enjoyed. I honestly don't feel like I'm too confused by things. There's just a lot to take in. I feel like I understand it for the most part. There is the question of how Klein got the sequence 8 potion recipe from the clown. If he got it from the clown or if he already had it. I'm curious if y'all can comment down below helping me out. Unless it's a spoiler and we're going to find out later. Then I won't have to worry about it. And I'm kind of missing our dear sweet friends who are having, luncheon in the Mind Palace. I wonder if we're going to see them again. If he's going to have to communicate with them. So I guess we'll find out. But in any case, I hope you all enjoyed this reaction and discussion. Please make sure you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see me talk about Lord of the Mysteries every other Saturday. And comment down below. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more of Lord of the Mysteries. And I'll see you then. Bye!